Hello, this is Michelle Alana Torres, and I am arguing for the justification of lowering the legal voting age to from its current standing of 18 to 16. One major component of lowering the voting age is allowing younger voters to get engaged in their community. At the age of 16, people believe that you're not fully developed to make such major decisions in our community, such as voting. However, upon my research, a journal written by Dr. Ikink, a researcher for the Department of Experimental Psychology at University Gent. The study includes evidence that adolescents are capable of complex reasoning to the same level as adults. They analyzed smaller but sooner rewards and longer but larger rewards. Depending on the age, the preferences change, where younger people, children and teens, want the sooner rewards, and adults prefer the larger rewards. This is a reflection of an adult's ability to look into the future and delay gratification for greater long-term rewards. This study analyzes delay discontinuing, which is when a reward loses value. Discounting, which is when a reward loses value when it is delayed to the recipient. The children in this study tend to have higher rates of delay discounting and lose interest very quickly, which is a reflection of impulsiveness and impatience. In adolescence, the delay discounting rate decreases and stabilizes, reflecting maturity and increased cognitive ability. Therefore, 16-year-olds are fully capable of reasoning, which supports our effort of lowering the voting age. And for me, this study was important to our argument because if we're able to prove that 16-year-olds are able to look into the future, then they are fully capable of looking at a law and thinking of the many ways it could affect the community. And especially how, in the end, things are either good or bad, right? That's the most important part when it comes to voting. And I would even say that adults are not, we are functioning at a higher level because our brains are fully developed. However, according to my second study conducted by Dr. Osteroff, when adults were asked if lowering the voting age was a good idea, 40% of U.S. adults support allowing 16 and 17-year-old adolescents to vote. Public opinion research indicates that those who oppose changing the voting age believe 16 and 17-year-old adolescents lack the political knowledge, cognitive capacity, and independence, political interest, and life experience to vote. However, scientific research proves that teens are able to think at the same level as adults, therefore able to make reasonable decisions such as voting. Then, the article analyzes complex reasoning in teens and adults. The results show that teens of the ages 16 to 17, the average performance is higher than the average performance of people over the age of 65, who currently make up more than a quarter of U.S. voters. And to add to that, our president is in his 70s. So, if a teen's brain is functioning at a better rate than adolescent over adults over the age of 65, is that saying something about our president, the way we're allowing even older people to run in office? But that's another conversation. The study's findings are consistent with my first source, indicating that as adolescents possess the cognitive capacity and political knowledge to vote in the U.S. elections. In my third source, the article was focusing on negative aspects of teens' involvement in politics and the adultification of youth. It highlights the current political movement to preserve the youth and the safety net woven to protect them from a political system that wants to treat them as adults. For example, offering life sentences or trying someone as an adult for convicting a crime that would be deemed at an adult level, such as murder. And my thing is like, how is it that age is able to be a factor or be dismissed as a factor when it comes to the justice system? However, when it comes to those teens voting, they are not cognitively capable of making such life decisions. Then why do we not consider that? Or why are we still punishing teens as if they were adults? So by that understanding, then we shouldn't be trying them as adults. We should be trying them as teens who are not fully cognitively developed. However, the science here in my studies are proving that they are functioning. They're cognitively able of making big decisions and understanding the consequences of such decisions. And voting is just a simple act that we all do as Americans. So it's just getting the youth engaged. And in this study, with the adultification was one aspect and a concern raised by the author. However, the teens that were in the study did find self-gratification from being involved in their community and seeing what positive changes they could make for those around them, such as going to a board meeting for their education system, right? And their voices being heard and being able to make a difference in their education, which is such an important part of our lives, is our education. What opportunities are open for us? And if we are not getting engaged, if we are not communicating what we are interested in, what is going to keep the youth in their classes? If they don't feel that they are seen, or if they are not happy as a student at their institution. So when we're giving 16-year-olds the right to vote, we're not only opening doors, we are initiating change for future generations and allowing proper representation, which is a natural given birthright as an American. In my fourth article, it was another study focusing on youth development, and how teens can positively affect their community through their actions. In return, in this study, the students began to notice that their environment grows their assets, and teens can become more successful as a result. Through civic engagement, the students learned that the value of their voices and the power they have in the community. In my fifth source, I focused on what was hurting voters today in day-to-day operations of government. Because we do have a lot of Americans who choose not to vote. And that would be called voter apathy. And pollsters are always trying to seek out ways to get voters engaged and to send out questionnaires to see what affects their votes. And one thing that they found was if voters did not like the government's policies, then they are less likely to vote and lose trust in the system. The article focused on what mobilizes voter turnout, aside from usual campaign-focused standpoint. The study mentions voter apathy, and if an individual feels that their government isn't committed to equality, that they are more likely to abstain from voting. They include empirical evidence that day-to-day operations of government influence voter turnout. So, when we lack proper representation, voters are less likely to vote, which is the exact opposite of what we stand for as a democracy. We want people to be engaged in the community, to feel heard, so that way they can engage in their communities. However, when day-to-day operations of government do not match our voices or our opinions, that is when we need to ask, what are we doing as a community that is not working? Why are people not motivated to vote? And it's the lack of proper representation. Lifting the voter age would stop the miscommunication, because it would allow more opinions to join the conversation, so that way we can move towards agreement, right? We are a society that is built up upon our core beliefs, upon the belief of liberty, the power of freedom to make your own decisions, and by lowering the voting age, we would just be committed, more aligned with that commitment as a nation. And then my sixth point was a study on the idea of 16-year-olds being given the right to vote is met with hesitation. Critics believe 16-year-olds are not fully developed cognitively and don't belong in politics. However, other countries have already lowered the voting age, such as Germany. And Germany is just the beginning. There are more countries that have lowered their voting age to 16. And it only proves that they are just trying to give 16-year-olds, young adults, their rights. Because if they are able to get arrested, if they're able to be on the streets driving amongst us adults, then why wouldn't we want to know what they have to say? And that is the end of my portion of the argument. I am so grateful that you have given me this opportunity to submit my work, and I hope that this conversation enlightened you on the justification for the legal voting of lowering the voting age. Thank you. I hope you have a good day.